Have you ever found yourself being really inconsistent when aiming sometimes? Do you find yourself missing shots in really intense situations? Have you ever thought about switching to a hard pad because of your inconsistency? If your answer to any of those questions is yes, then you need to watch this video, cause this pad is so based, it can fix any of those issues.
Oh my god.
Ja,
Oh my god. I'm about to come.
First of all, I want to give a huge shout out to Stubby for getting out of Diamond. I wouldn't have thought that day would actually come. I'll also go over some of the boring stuff really quickly. The pad comes shipped totally flat in some cardboard, plastic and bubble wrap. It lies almost perfectly flat right out of the box. The pad has also never slid on my desk during gameplay, and the dimensions of the pad are actually 450 by 450 millimeters. Compared to an Artisan XL, that's almost 5 centimeters less in width, which did fuck me up in game quite a few times. However, that issue will be solved with the upcoming version of this pad, as it will be a 500 by 500 pad in the future. Now that we got all that out the way, let's dive into why this pad is so incredibly based. I think you've all noticed how many "it's like this but cheaper" pads that have released lately, but this is certainly not one of them. This pad is the first one I've tried this year, where I can definitely say that the company behind it has genuinely tried to come up with something new. After my week of having a blast on it and being in contact with the people behind it, I can confidently say that this is a true passion project. The thing that makes this cloth pad so special is actually the base. As you can see, it's a molded silicone base. Anyone who knows a bit about manufacturing knows that custom molds aren't cheap whatsoever, especially compared to the price of certain Poron bases. The base itself is incredibly firm, and when placed on a desk it feels just like a hard pad, but with a cloth surface. The benefit you get from this is that your aim becomes incredibly consistent, since you can't compress into your pad and accidentally produce a ton of friction like on softer and more squishy pads. You can create the slightest amount of additional friction somewhat, but it requires a ton of force and also depends on how large your mouse skates are. Overall, I'd say the friction of this pad is as consistent as it gets, especially considering that it's a cloth pad. The baby blue color on this thing is absolutely stunning, and my shitty ass webcam really doesn't do it justice. The stitching on my copy is level to surface, and it has never bothered me whatsoever in game. Also, on the upcoming iterations of this pad, the stitching will be even better than this basically perfect one. Speed-wise, this pad reminds me most of my Hayate Otsu. In-game, these pads actually feel really similar, with the key difference being my soft Hayate Otsu feeling more inconsistent due to its squishy Poron base. It's definitely faster than a Zero, but it's also more controlled than a Hien. As mentioned, the surface is very textured, and I could see this being a comfort issue for some people, but it's definitely not as textured as something like the Artisan Hien, but slightly more toned down and similar to my Hayate Otsu roughness-wise. Overall, the speed of this pad is really as balanced as it gets, and I personally have at no point felt like I need more control or more speed on this pad. Of course, this isn't a perfect pad for everybody, since not everyone wants to play on what feels like a hard pad. Many people want that additional control that you get from a softer base, and for those people, I definitely not recommend getting this pad. However, if you don't know what you actually prefer yet, or you know that you want to be more consistent, I'd 1000% recommend you checking out this pad. I've seen tons of people on Twitter saying that this is the mouse pad right now, and all I can say is that they might just be right. I personally would be more than happy to main this pad for a long time, and if you don't see it on my desk, it'll most likely be because I'm testing out new pads for reviews. When it comes to availability, it's looking really great for you if you're in the US. Currently, this pad is only available on Lethal Gaming Gear and FreeFall's own company website, and the shipping prices to the EU are pretty brutal. I personally had to pay over 40 bucks just to get it shipped here to Switzerland, but honestly, I'd say it was worth it for me personally. However, FreeFall are currently working on making it available to as many people as possible out there, and there will more than likely be multiple EU retailers selling the upcoming pads very soon. If you're interested in buying it, I'll leave some links down in the description for you. I do have to warn you that they're working very hard on the new versions of this pad and also many other products and making it available at several other retailers. So if I were you, I'd probably wait a few weeks and follow them on Twitter. So yeah, it's pretty freaking based. Shout out to Stubby for letting me know of this pad, and also a huge shout out to Pro Aim, FreeFall, and everyone involved. Peace out.